That's unlucky. Okay, so unfortunately that's missed him, but we have this there we are. So this one here, so you can move him up to 2 and then put 2 wound tokens on someone if you wanted to.
Well, an adjacent champion, so I can put 2 wounds on him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll do that because I've still got the gist of it. Excellent, thanks very much.
No worries.
Friends now.
So you're a veteran now, so
Right, cheers.
No worries.
Could you give me an overview? Do you mind if I film as well?
Yeah, I can certainly do that, no worries. How much of that did you get, or do you want me to start from?
I didn't really catch a lot of it, so I'm interested in what does this track do as well?
Yeah, sure, I'll talk you through let me just drop these guys back down.
So what are the 2 factions we've got here then?
Well, there's no factions, it's a completely factionless game. Okay. So the idea is that in Godtear you play as champions who are kind of swollen on sort of the power of fallen gods. Okay. They kind of slam into the ground as these crystalline forms, and different champions, i.e. these sort of chosen individuals, can then sort of draw that power into themselves and basically sort of begin their path to ascend. Yeah. And they obviously attract different followers through charisma or kind of fear. In the case of, we can imagine Rangosh here is pretty scary, and we can kind of work through that way. So in terms of the actual gameplay, there's no factions. It's loose coalitions of champions. At the start of the game, depending on what size you play, 3 is the standard game. You'll take up to 3 champions from the entire pool, and obviously we have the various different ones over there. There's quite a few to choose from, and they all have different roles. So there's Slayer champions, for example, who are really good at killing other champions. There's Maelstrom champions who are really good at running in and windmilling in and killing a whole bunch of followers. There's Shaper champions who are good about manipulating the board and moving things around. And then the last one would be your Guardian champions who are really tanky and really defensive.
So you've got the tanky ones, then you've got some that maybe boost the followers more than others.
Exactly, yeah. And obviously, and within those as well, obviously it doesn't mean that Rangosh is a Slayer, for example. He's entirely different from any other Slayers we might have as well who do different things. So it's a very varied game in that respect. Now, the track here, for example, is another thing you asked about. So the track here works every single turn of Godtear. There's only ever going to go to 5 victory points. Now, the way it works is that during the turn, you move your victory point marker up and down the track depending on what you do. So, for example, if I kill one of these followers, then it moves along 1 towards me.
Oh right, so you're trying to drag it.
Effectively, and that's what you're doing. The 2 sides are basically vying for control by moving this up and down by doing different bits. So if I kill this follower here, for example, I move it 1 towards. If I use Blackjaw here, who's a Maelstrom champion, so he's really good at killing guys, not only is he super strong at killing other guys, but also he gets extra points for killing his followers as well, so he's kind of incentivized to go after that.
To go in toe to toe.
Exactly. Same as Rangosh. If you kill a champion, another champion, normally it moves towards you, so Rangosh killed Blackjaw 1, 2, 3, 4 down that way, but because Rangosh is a Slayer, he actually gets another one further down there.
Bonus. Okay.
Guardians again. There's another mechanic in the game where you put down a banner. If you have objective hexes and you're playing this in a scenario play, you put down a banner which you then try to protect and score points at the end of the game. If you're doing that,
the banners on the Kickstarter, the models.
Exactly it. So if you're doing that, and if you're a Guardian champion, normally that will score you 4 points. Let's swing back this way. But if you're a Guardian champion, again, gets you more points for scoring banners because that kind of drives you towards the certain style of player they have. So in terms of how the game plays, so we obviously have champions like our lovable rogue here, Rangosh, who I'm just going to lift up because he's leaning over a bit for you. We then have followers as well who come with these different champions. Now these are set as part of what the champion has. They're kind of part of obviously the rules, so that way you don't have to worry too much about list building as in what unit do I take with which champion. Now,
so they come as a set, don't they?
They come as a set, so you get the champion and their followers.
But can you mix and match from any of the other sets? Or is it?
You can't mix and match the champions. So if you take in a free champion force, you can have any champions you want. The game's completely factionless. However, you couldn't say, well, I'll take Rangosh with these orcs. Because the difference is that the design of the champions and the followers is that they're really built to work together. There's synergies built into them. It's also about balancing as well. You might have a champion who's less overtly powerful, for example, than Rangosh, but he might have much stronger champion followers to go with that. By comparison, you might have we have a dragon king called Wraith Marid, who's this hulking great dragon, but of course has these really they can't do any damage at all. His followers, his followers are these wall whirlpools that can't do much damage at all. So that's generally how it will play through. Now, in terms of game terms. when you're moving them around, there's two phases. The first one is the plot phase. And the plot phase, if I'll just you have a look at the cards out this stage. So we flip over. So the plot phase is when, if you can imagine this is a sort of cinematic experience like a film, that's when the camera zooms out and it sees the two sides moving towards each other on the battlefield. So you take turns moving your entire force at that point. So in our example here, if I was going first, and let's just put Rangosh back to where he was going, I will move, I can move these guys and say, okay, so let's move these orcs. Orcs can move 3 in this phase, so they're going to go, and now, because they're a follower unit, they can split up if they want to, they can go in the same hex, entirely up to them. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So they're going to group up here.
How many can go in one hex?
3, up to 3.
Up to 3 in one hex, okay.
Although only a single champion.
Single champion, 3 models, okay.
So these guys are then going to go 1, 2, and I think these guys are just going to split up and do that. You can move them around as you want to. So if you want your orcs to be grouped together like this,
so they gain a bonus to the actors.
They absolutely do. So let's talk about what they can do. So you can do 2 actions in this phase. The first one is where I've just used as moving. Although if you have multiple abilities, no reason you have to move. I can then look at what their abilities are. Now it's worth pointing out these change from phase to phase. So in this range, all the orcs are doing is intimidating. But they can start making attacks in the next phase. We'll get onto that in a moment. To start with, let's have a look at this. So their ability here is range 1, we can see. Now there's only one of them here.
So they can only hit something next to them in a...
Exactly, for this particular ability
and there's no facing, so they can hit any, any side of their hex.
Yep, and there's nothing like a free strike or a passing blow mechanic. You can move completely freely. And there's no unit cohesion, so you can do that.
Oh, so you can spread anywhere you like?
Absolutely, but obviously it makes you weaker if you don't do that, as we'll show. So looking at this, there's a range 1 ability now. There's only 1 orc in the square. You can only roll 1 dice to try and hit the opponent. If there's 2 of them together, he's rolling 3 dice, and if there's 3 of them together, I'm rolling 6 dice. So that will dramatically improve the ability you have to hit.
Up with the ganging up.
So there is a real advantage to grouping things together and doing it that way. I mean, you can split up as much as you want to make a skirmish line, but the individual effectiveness of each of those models won't be very high.
You want to bunch them up for the ability,
Exactly, you've got it. So the orcs are doing this, and let's say I make my attack and I can hit you or not. That's only going to put a modifier on you at this point. And this is the blight and boon system.
So you're intimidating, so you're putting
I'm
a negative against the...
Exactly, I'm reducing the stats, so I'm making them easier to hit in that particular example. So those guys now get a blight token, which means that if someone else tries to hit them with an ability, I remove this token to reduce their dodge value. So the next thing I can activate is Blackjaw himself, and he's going to do something very similar. So he can move 3, we see in this phase. So he goes 1, 2, 3, because obviously, as we discussed, he likes these guys. So at this point, I can then choose one of these different things. So I could use I could have used a hot foot to move faster if I wanted to, or I could use an evil eye to try and hit these guys and put a sunder token on them with one of these. Let's say I roll and I miss for the sake of doing things. So, well, in fact, let's actually roll it. So we see it's 5 dice. So I roll these 5. Now that's obviously this. Now we look at your stat here to your defence. We see that human mercenaries have a dodge of 3. Now ordinarily that would miss because I only roll 2 hits, but because you've got this modifier on here, this blight.
So these aren't final production dice.
No, this is all. The game is currently Kickstarter, and the whole point at the moment is that it's an open access alpha. So we're at this point we're developing with the aid of the community what the rules of the game are, and we're sort of really building it at this point. It's really nice community-driven sort of content that we're having at the moment, and obviously we're getting great feedback from everybody, really enthusiastic about it, and we're helping together to build this game into what it will be, which is really nice. And it's been very, very popular with all of our backers, but a lot of other people as well, because they're really kind of just sort of championing the system, if you forgive the champion thing. So, yeah, exactly. So,
and the models are amazing.
Well, I'm kind of biased, but I'd agree with you. I think they're really cool. So anyway, in our example here, that's not enough to hit a human mercenary who's got 3 defense, but because you've got this blight on you, I can remove that to drop your defense down to 2, and now it hits you. And at that point, I then put a sunder token on you, which is going to reduce your armor.
Great.
So
basically you haven't damaged, you've just sundered.
No, there's different
armor as well.
Exactly, different champions, different models for different things in this phase. So the plot phase is really about sort of marshalling your troops and getting them into position to set up the next turn. Because the next turn, and let's just whip over, the next turn is the clash phase.
So basically, so the turn, you flip that for the different phase of the game.
Got it, and they have different abilities. You'll notice, for example, if we look at Rangosh, Rangosh has a speed of 2, 4, 2, and then 6 here. Now his wounds, his armour, and I imagine his dodge won't change much, but his move certainly does. So we can see these change, but he's faster in this phase. And you can imagine Rangosh has blew up ahead in speed, he's now much faster, can charge and do what he does, which is pretty cool. So let's look at Rangosh. So now we move to the clash phase. And the clash phase, you imagine the camera now zooms back down, and at this point now we're in the sort of, in our moving, and now we're kind of seeing the real close-up nitty-gritty. And at this phase is now alternating activations. So it switches from, rather than both sides get to marshal their troops around, now it's all about kind of moving around.
One person hits, then the next person.
So if we go Rangosh, now because Rangosh is already base to base, he really wants to be killing my champion here. We can now look at, he has these abilities. So he has one called Jawbreaker, which we can see.
So these are like Guild Ball, they're all described sort of abilities.
You've got it, exactly, You can imagine Jawbreaker is this big old headbutt maybe, or an uppercut. The other one is Whiplash, but unsurprisingly this big whip, this big barbed thing he's got here is probably going to snake around someone. And we can see that, the range on this is 1, but the range on the other one is 2, so he's obviously got better range.
So you can stretch that out a bit further.
Exactly, you've got it. And this is how many accuracy dice you roll, so 3. And this is how many damage dice you roll. So we can see Jawbreaker isn't the most accurate attack, but if it hits, it does serious damage.
Big damage,
If we then look at this, we can see that, you know, Whiplash is much more accurate, and I imagine it's more difficult to avoid that, but it doesn't do as much damage. It's not got as much power as being hit by these big old horns. And that's how it would work. So let's roll that. So let's see. So my defence is 3 for Blackjaw, so he's been hit by this Jawbreaker.
So you have to equal the defence.
Equal or exceed.
Equal or exceed, okay.
And then we're rolling now, we're rolling damage, now that's a big old 7 dice hit, which is pretty impressive. Now, on this one, you're going to subtract my armour from it. My armour is 3, so whatever we roll here, we're going to subtract 3. So, lose those 3 for armour, and it looks like I've been hit by it for 3 damage. So, just the purposes of this, and again, this is one thing that changes for the main game, obviously. This is prototype.
You're tracking the damage with the...
But this is obviously prototype, as we said. So you hit me down 3 damage. Now, you can do another move if you want.
So how many damage can he take overall?
Well, I can take 6 overall on Blackjaw.
And then he's knocked out of the game completely?
So then he'll be knocked back. So assume that we've done another hit that does enough, another 3 to knock me out.
So it's not sudden death when you're getting 0.
No. The important thing is, so let's see how this would work in terms of our mechanic here. So you would, if you reduce me to 0 wounds, you would get to push me 2 hexes back. So you push me in any direction. You could keep me there if you want, up to 2. So you could push me all the way back over to here, for example, away from these guys. Which means that at that point I'm then effectively prone, and I need to do something called a rally in my activation to stand up and get back into it. But of course, you've effectively removed me from the turn here, because if I do a rally, that's one of my actions. My other one is probably moving back over to here, so next turn I can attack these guys.
Reduce his effectiveness for a whole round.
Absolutely, I can't be able to attack these guys from over here. I've got nothing within range
to hit them. So the rally, does that restore health?
Absolutely, I'd come back to full health at that stage.
Oh, now, full health, okay.
So
but because you've been defeated, you're likely to have moved up the track.
Well, exactly, that's exactly how we go. So if you knock out a champion like that, this would then, you get 4 points. It's quite a big thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how far along your token would move towards you.
Okay, so
because that's ways to take out a champion. It's a real strong swing.
It's a strong move. Plus
and because he's a slayer, because he's a guy who's designed to do that, you actually get an extra one as we discussed before. Now, for me to come back into this is very hard. If he's got, for each follower that gets killed, you only get 1. So it's a different thing.
So you want to hit the big guys, but it depends on
however you can finish them off. And that's kind of part of the strength. You imagine a Guardian champion is really good at standing there and taking the hits, and really makes your opponent have to work to get those points. By comparison, having an army, having a force without one of these guys is a very bold decision, because obviously these are the guys that score the big points from doing that. But then the flag play, for example, when you put down the flag and protect the zone, that's just the same thing. So there's lots of different variations on how it works.
And is this the main table size? Is this effectively all you need?
This is obviously our table we've set up for a nice thing. That's our main table size you see there.
Oh, that's the board size over there. So that comes in the Kickstarter.
And if you notice, it gains 1 damage. So,
good. And then that's it. Now, as we said, so let's assume skip to the end of the turn and say you've won it. It stays here. We flip that over. You get 1 VP. We then move on to the second turn, and we have a turn 2 one that will go here. And at that point it'll start on my side, because I'll be going first because I lost the previous round. But the second turn one is worth 2 points. Now you get to 5 to win. So it's entirely feasible that you could win the first 2 rounds, and then your opponent wins 3 and 4, because it goes 1 is worth 1, 2 is worth 2, 3 is worth 3, and then it drops down to 4 is worth 2, and 5 is worth 1. So the game will only ever go to 5 rounds at absolute maximum. And the probability is that it probably will end a bit quicker than that. If someone is completely dominating the game, then the whole point is that in 3 rounds you'll lose. But it's entirely feasible that you could win the first 2 rounds, I win rounds 3 and 4, and I swung it back to the end.
You swung it back in your direction. I like that.
So it's the game works in the sense where, because you never truly take out a champion, it's very good at, there's no that one-sided game that happens. One of the things that we all...
the wipe out, and then, well, I may as well not play anymore because I've lost my big character.
You've got it. One of the
things... Throwing my dice out the window, I've had enough kind of thing.
You've got it. Throw your toys out the pram kind of thing. We've all played those games of miniatures where it's just a case of, okay, so at the end of the first turn I can tell I've already lost.
I'm terrible for that. I could roll a pair of dice and go, well, that's it, I've had enough. I've lost.
Exactly, and that's the point. You roll badly, oh, I don't care anymore.
I'm going to lose that character, and now I've had it.
Pull out your phone, playing with that, checking Facebook or something. Yeah, exactly. No, in Godtear, you're constantly engaged because you're constantly driving forward, and you're constantly trying to swing this back towards where you can do. Even if you lose a round, it's not the end of the world, and all of your guys are deployed, and you're ready to go and set up and charge in.
Okay, cool. Well, that's great. What was your name, sorry?
I'm Sherwin.
Okay, nice Sherwin, I'm Robin. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Robin.
Right, cheers.
So sorry about that. Anything else you need?
I'm all good, thanks. I'm already on the Kickstarter.
So fantastic. Thank you for your support.
Okay. Cheers, thanks.